Welcome to Instant Trivia, episode 1823. Ready? Let's go. What common household product is acetic acid better known as? Vinegar. On average, Americans do this 2.2 times per week. What is it? Visit a supermarket. Grocery shopping. Which British politician was nicknamed Bambi? Tony Blair. Which large city, the capital of New South Wales, is located on the southeastern coast of Australia? Sydney. Into how many main sections is an insect's body divided? 3. Head, thorax, and abdomen. What is the name of the cushion used for kneeling in a church? Hassock. Sergei Kalenikov holds the world record for what unusual activity? Kissing pigs. Which pop singer had a breakout hit with Girls Just Wanna Have Fun? Cyndi Lauper. Which Aqua song was their second consecutive #1 single? Dr. Jones. Who served as vice president under Jimmy Carter and was the Democratic nominee for president in 1984? Walter Mondale. Which U.S. states are named for a Sioux word meaning friend or ally? North Dakota and South Dakota. Which space shuttle tragically broke apart shortly after launch in 1986? Answer: Space Shuttle Challenger. Which renowned jazz trumpeter was famous for playing a trumpet with its bell bent upward? Dizzy Gillespie. Which type of natural disaster is classified using the Saffir-Simpson scale? Hurricanes. Which 19th century social dance consists of 5 or more sequential figures performed by couples and was popular in European ballrooms? Quadrille. Which band, fronted by August Darnell, featured the backing singers known as the Coconuts? Kid Creole and the Coconuts. The shaddock is an old name for which citrus fruit? Pomelo. Which Swedish city was named a European Capital of Culture in 1998? Stockholm. Which American cartoonist created the comic strip that inspired It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown? Charles M. Schulz. In the Care Bears series, what is the name of the special attack they use to defeat villains? Care Bear Stare. On which continent is the Mississippi River located? North America. Which weapon lends its name to a woman's shoe with a slender, tapered high heel? Stiletto. What term describes a prior decision or event that serves as an example or rule for similar future circumstances? Precedent. Which popular coffee drink is named after the color of the robes worn by Capuchin friars? Cappuccino. Which U.S. president was the first to be sworn in by a woman? Lyndon B. Johnson. What is the capital of the European microstate bordered by Switzerland and Austria? Vaduz. In which country is the town of Kumbum located? India. What short-lived American political party of the 1850s and early 1860s was nativist and anti-immigrant and became known as the Know-Nothings? Answer: the Know-Nothing Party, also called the American Party. In a 1978 Iowa case, why was a drunk driving charge dismissed? Because the defendant was too drunk to provide a chemical sample. Which psychological disorder is commonly, but incorrectly, described as having a split personality? Schizophrenia. Which famous Gothic horror novel was written by Gaston Leroux? The Phantom of the Opera. What is the profession called that creates maps? Cartographer. Which two countries share Lake Titicaca? Peru and Bolivia. What was Debbie Reynolds' top single in 1957? Tammy? What is the basic unit of currency in the Republic of Guinea? Guinean franc. What is the capital city of the U.S. state of Indiana? Indianapolis. Which traditional folk song about a river served as the theme for the 1940 film The Grapes of Wrath? Ants, Red River Valley. Which city is the capital of California? Sacramento. Which type of hat, named after a Moroccan city, became popular in the Ottoman Empire? Fez. Which mammal is protected by bony armor and can curl into a ball when threatened? Answer: armadillo, notably the three-banded armadillo. At what age does a female horse stop being called a filly and start being called a mare? 4 years old. What term describes the sexual paraphilia in which a person obtains sexual gratification from receiving physical pain or humiliation? Masochism, sexual masochism. In poker, what is the name for the initial amount each player must put in before any cards are dealt? Ante. Carlos Menem was elected president of which country in 1989? Argentina. Which English romantic poet wrote Ode to Melancholy and Ode on a Grecian Urn? John Keats. Which actor and writer born in 1939 has the given names John Marwood? John Cleese. What is the second most abundant element in the Earth's crust? Silicon. In The Godfather, what was the name of the racehorse whose severed head was placed in film producer Jack Woltz's bed? In mathematics, what is the term for the result of a division operation? Quotient. Who performed the main title song for the 1956 film The Girl Can't Help It? Little Richard. That's the end of the show. Thanks for playing. See you tomorrow.